This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I try to suck less every year, including this year. And this is the Jones Aviator 2022 under the pretty lights. Next to it is the Jones Mountain Twin. They're very close together, as you can see by the shape. The Yes Basic Uninc and the Jones Mind Expander Twin. I'll be primarily talking about the Aviator and the Jones Mountain Twin, but I'll occasionally reference those guys too. Maybe it'll cut down my email count. I rode this primarily with my Burton Kendos and my Union Atlas. I got this mainly in spring conditions. The season I tested it, it just shut off in late February, early March, and we just never really got any good snow after that. But the spring conditions were still good, and even though this is a wide, I took it out just to see how it rides. To give you a short summary, this is not the Aviator of old. This is the Jones Mountain Twin on steroids. It's got more camber. It has a more aggressive, stiffer flex. Gone is that ultra light, ultra poppy kind of ride that the Aviator used to have that was also ultra bucky. This is now stiffer and damper in most situations than the Jones Mountain Twin. And it's not going to float as well as the Jones Mountain Twin, even though it has more setback on board, or the Mind Expander Twin, or even the Yes Basic Uninc. All of these boards are going to float better, but this is going to have more pop, more drive, more power. And if you want to get air, this is probably the board you want to get out of Jones's line.
It's Davey boy here, and I'm going to talk to you about the Jones 158 wide Aviator. This is a big guy's perspective. I am 6'4", currently about 250, trying to get down to 235, and I got a size 12 boot that I was riding. I had the Burton swaths that I rode on this board. Union Force bindings as well. I had it for a handful of days up on Mount Bachelor, handful of days on Mount Hood this summertime. I rode it on Icy Groomers, Primo Springtime Slush, and some Primo Summertime Slush. Thing's a ripper. Turns with ease. I love charging on this board. Super sturdy, super stable, and it pops like a beast. I'm a big guy, and it's really easy for me when I'm coming in fast trying to angle up for a side hit or something, especially later on in a spring day when you get more of a tracked out run up into a hit. It's really easy for me to kind of wash out and not come off that side hit a little unstable in the air. On the Aviator, not at all. Complete steady beast. Thing lands big airs really well. It has a softer flex in the middle that allows you to pop when you take off, but the stiffness in the tail is perfect for landing really steady. I've ridden a couple other boards with lifted sides that kind of were a little washier, but these ones just gripped right in there. I didn't really have any problems with it. I was a little worried because I have my boot is pushing the capacity for this board, but overall it came through perfectly.
Now, when it comes to sizing, this was too wide for me, but it's fun sometimes going out on a wide board with a size 9 boot and just seeing what it does. I could tell this would just be great in the right size. Now, when it comes to shape, this is twin-ish, directional twin kind of ride. You can see that next to the Jones Mountain Twin, a directional twin, they're pretty similar in shape, and it feels very centered, very between the feet, and not very set back on side cut or board. Now, the camber profile is full camber, but with spoon tech in the nose and tail. So it lets go a little bit in the tip and tail, so it doesn't feel as catchy as full camber, but this is still more of an advanced to expert ride. But it can also feel a touch edgeless and washy in harder snow, but it's definitely doable. It's not as bad as other boards I've tried out there with lifted sides. It's just something you need to get used to and where you pressure your edges, and then it's okay. Now let's talk flex. This is a pretty medium stiff flex. It's pretty stiff throughout. Stiff in the tip and tail, stiff between the feet here, and the overall flex It's just kind of like medium stiff. So even factoring in its mid-wideness, I felt like I could pop this on snow pretty well. If I was on like a 158 regular, man, that would be fun. I think I could access that pop even more so and really make this thing spring. It's not the easiest butter. It's much easier on the Jones Mountain Twin, easier with the Mind Expander Twin, and easier with the basic Uninc for sure. Those boards all butter easier. Now the Flex personality is pretty stiff and really poppy. So that can get a little cranky and uneven snow, but it's nowhere near as bad as the old Aviator was. That thing just became kind of a chattery mess to the point where I was losing my edge hold because it was bucking out of the turn in harder snow. This doesn't do that, but it does get a little cranky in hard, micro bumpy groomers in the morning, you know, kind of like frozen spring groomers like I was riding. Wasn't ideal. I like the Jones Mountain Twin a little better. I like the Yes basic Uninc a lot better. The Mind Expander Twin was pretty good, but kind of between the Jones Mountain Twin and the Aviator. Overall though, I think I like this Flex personality much better, and it's more for an aggressive rider who likes to power over things. When it comes to speed and base glide, Jones just does such a great job with their base glide. There's nobody better out there. There are some equals, but there's nobody better, and these bases just keep their speed and have such easy glide. Even if it's not their highest end base, it's still so close to their highest end base, it's like shades of excellent. This, the Jones Mountain Twin, and the Mind Expander Twin just all have an easy glide, and they keep their speed so well. The basic Uninc is no slouch at all, but it's just a little behind these guys in terms of glide. And if you want to point it, if you like going fast, the Aviator is the best out of all these. It's just the dampest and the fastest, and it keeps its composure at high speed the best. I think this Aviator's edge hold is really good, and it holds an edge much better now that it has this different Flex personality than the old Aviator. And it's kind of on par with all these guys here, except for the basic Uninc. That has grip beyond all these guys, but all of these are competent hard snow boards. And the basic Uninc is good even in ice. Now, when it comes to turn initiation, obviously my opinion is skewed because this is a 159 wide. But even based on that, I could see how the 158 would have a nice, easy turn initiation that's somewhat similar to the Jones Mountain Twin 157. With past Aviators with a different shape, they turned pretty quick. So I would say medium fast would probably be how the regular width would work for me and my specs. And when you get it on edge, it has a good turning experience. It seems like they tweaked out the spoon tech a little more, so it's not as washy and edgeless as it used to be, but you still have to be a little more mindful and put more weight between the feet. Just kind of squeeze your legs together and pressure down into the center of board, and then it really jams through a turn. But this carves hard once you get that down, and it carves harder than all these boards here. The only one that's close is the Yes basic Uninc. That one has pretty good pop and drive out of the turn. But overall, I just love the turning experience with this. It really popped hard out of a turn, and it was fun riding a wide. I wouldn't buy it. I would definitely buy the 158. This would be my least favorite board in powder because it's just full camber with some spoon. The spoon helps it a little bit more, but you're still not getting a lot of directional float. There's a little more setback on board. For example, this is 2 inches back from center of board if you set it all the way back, and that's at a 22.75 inch stance width, which is a little wide. You're really freeing the taint there. But in comparison to the Jones Mountain Twin, that's 1.75, so you're getting a 1/4 inch more back on board. But I'd still rather be on the Jones Mountain Twin because that has more rocker and therefore more float. It's just going to be an easier board to ride in powder, despite having a little bit less setback on board. The Yes basic Uninc, probably like that a little bit better than the Jones Mountain Twin because the basic Uninc is 2.25 inches back from center of board, and that's pretty good at a 22.5 inch stance width. This does have setback inserts and you need full-size discs only for that. Now, the best of all these guys is definitely the Mind Expander Twin. That just blows doors over the Aviator. But if you like camber riding in powder, you're gonna love this because it's better than most camber boards, and it's gonna pop really hard. And if you know how to keep your speed and plane in powder, you might really have a good time with this guy. Now, when it comes to switch riding, very doable. When I took out the Jones Mountain Twin right after it on the same day, same boots, same bindings, and threw that around switch, I was like, oh yeah, they're pretty close. It was hard to really tell too much of a difference. This is very doable switch. And as far as park goes, this is a jump board. It just will jam jumping, and it feels like it has a similar side cut to the Jones Mountain Twin that likes to track well into kickers, and this will just pop off a kicker really well. And I didn't feel the edge wash out when I tried to load the edge on an ollie, so that was kind of cool. Sometimes that can happen with boards with lifted sides. Half pipe, doable for sure. I'd rather be on the basic Uninc. Jibs, no thanks. Overall, despite the fact this was the 159 wide, I had a really good time on this, and I could see the regular version really delivering and just giving you that Jones Mountain Twin on steroids kind of feel for those that want more pop, more camber drive, and a little more old school feel with a modern, more forgiving twist. This could work for you. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now, if you need advice, fill out the Me Harmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.